Hello and welcome to Drumming Up Conversation. I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood.
And I'm the kid.
Yay.
Yay. So, full discretion, we've already done this once, but Andrea kind of
slipped up
a couple times, so we figured the kid, when she got here, she was only supposed to do episode 4 with us, but she said just in case she did episode 3 as well, in case we wanted her to jump on. I'm like, fuck it, let's just redo it then.
Redo.
Yeah. So if you're listening to the audio version, intro and outro music is provided by Arizona prog metal band Temporal Displacement. If you have any questions, you can email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation, and on X at Drum Conversing. And you can find our audio podcasts on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And of course, video on YouTube. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, download.
Yeah, do all that.
Give us a rating, a nice rating.
5
please.
stars.
And
give us 2 5-stars so we can have 10-star rating.
Yes.
We love that.
And tell a friend. Or
tell
2.
a friend. Yeah, or 5 or 10 or 1,000.
You want this many?
Exactly. So big.
And so this episode is episode 3 of the first season. It's called Esqueleto, and it means skeleton. And this one was the first one in red letters instead of the yellow letters for the first 2 episodes. It was directed by someone different as well, Jennifer Salota. It was written by the same people, John, Josh, Hayden, Robert Kamen, Michael Smith, The Usual Suspects, produced by Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, and a few others as well. The music was Leo Bierenberg and Zach Robinson. There are some new additions to the cast. The big ones are Vanessa Rubio as Carmen Diaz. We have Rose Bianco as Rosa, and Aaron Danger as Counselor Blatt are the newest additions. Other than that, it's the same people as before. And would you want to go ahead and start it off?
Yeah, it opens up with Rat playing, and Miguel is shadowboxing.
Yeah, and is on his bed.
He's making a lot of noise. And Rosa, his grandma, his Yaya, comes to the door and knocks to tell him it's time for dinner, set the table, whatever. And she hears grunting in there.
And a lot of movement and stuff. Yeah.
So she assumes that he's masturbating.
Yeah.
But he's just working out.
Yeah. And then at that point, we go to the dinner table, and Miguel's just scarfing down his food. And
I think, doesn't she say something about his hand? When Carmen walks in and sits down?
Something.
Yeah.
There's
something. He has like scars forming or something, or like not calluses, but
scratches, whatever. And
then she asks about his appetite.
No, she asks where those came from.
Oh, okay.
That's when Yaya.
You don't want to know.
Says, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
And he looks at her like, huh?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when they start talking about the Halloween dance, and
he wants to go as Deadpool.
Yeah.
And Carmen's like, I'll make you Deadpool. You want to be Deadpool? We'll make it happen.
And Rosa says, no, not a sweatshop.
This is not a sweatshop.
Yeah.
And because it's expensive, so they can't afford it. And then next scene is Johnny's looking at some past due notices.
Yeah.
Because they're in the dojo.
They haven't had any students
besides
than Miguel.
And he's probably for free because he has to hide it.
Because
you have to think that, or else his mom would know. Or unless he asked for money for something else and used it towards that.
Just putting it.
But they don't talk about that, so I'm not really sure. And then Miguel asks if he's done any thought of advertising, and Johnny's like, yeah, duh, of course. Which means no.
Yeah.
And I've always assumed through the whole series that Miguel is
in charge of that,
trained for free.
Yeah, I've never once.
Well, I think Miguel does a lot of the advertising too,
for sure.
Which we find out a little bit later what he does, anyways.
And then
later,
yeah. And then next we cut to.
Let's not restart this again.
Well, that's why I stopped.
Then we cut to Daniel staring out the window watching Sam and Kyler.
Yeah, Louis started an underground fight tournament or something like that, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
What?
And she's like, "Other than wasting a few dollars of sushi, he seems to be a good kid. And not a few dollars of sushi."
No.
What a waste.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, you know, Daniel
Picking
ate it.
fish sticks over sushi. Come on.
Yeah,
It's not
for
real
sure.
fish.
Yeah. So, and yeah,
Then they cut over to the auto dealership, and that's when Daniel's having a talk with
Anoush and
Louis
Louis.
and Anoush, and Anoush says girls with daddy issues are
The
the
worst.
worst
And
the
the
best.
yeah, yes, yep,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
They
you
are.
said,
yep. You
I don't
date
have
the daddy
that.
issues, and you marry the ones that don't.
okay,
So,
there we go.
Yep.
Then we cut over to Counselor Blatt. She's speaking with the students about the Halloween dance, and it's really lame because she said, instead, think of your costumes, be aware of your costumes,
Be more gender.
neutral.
Yeah. It's like
So
instead of
be-
sexy nurse, be what was it, hospital administrative or something like that.
a gender neutral hospital, whatever. Yeah,
mhm.
lame.
Yeah, and then next is the advertising with Lynn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Johnny's out in front of the dojo with homeless lady.
Well, not,
and,
yeah, he's more close to like the main street and on like
Mhm.
the little grassy area, and yeah,
and he's got the sign. He's telling her, you just need to spin it.
spin it, advertise it, hold it up, all that stuff.
He
and
says, you want me to show
my
my
bits. He's like,
No,
No one
no
wants to see your bits.
Yeah. Just spin the sign,
and then I'll get you your money.
and I'll pay you.
I want meth and a burrito.
Yeah, that's
You
what
can
she
buy
said.
whatever you want. That's how money works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he's casing the streets and posting on the trees and
Mhm.
just having no luck. People are throwing it away.
I love that he thinks going up to the basketball players is like, hey,
Bro,
kicks get chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll just go talk to a girl. We don't need to do this.
Because you can tell he's just doesn't know how to do this anymore.
And he's very dejected after that. He takes
Yeah.
the headband off, walking away.
Because back in his day, when he was at the heyday of his karate championship, that's how you would have done it.
Mhm.
You would have just plastered the town with flyers and talked to
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Word of mouth.
Karate was cool back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, we head over to Daniel's at home, and he walks into Sam's room, and
Mm-hmm.
he's going to ask her something, but all of a sudden he hears a ding on her computer.
Yeah, well, when he's talking to Louis and Anoush, they kind of talk about looking at her computer
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
to kind of get an idea of what's really going on.
And
Yeah.
since that she's in the shower and it dings, he's like, oh, I have the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, so
And that's when Kyler says, I want some alone time with you. I have something big to show you.
Yeah.
And then Amanda walks in right at that time, so
And
we
he's
don't
like-
know any
Yeah.
more of those messages.
Yeah.
And he's just making sure my internet's working or whatever. And
It looks like hers is.
Yeah.
We're all good. I'm going to make my broccoli rob for dinner.
yeah.
And then it's like, that's all they're going to have is
Just broccoli rob.
yeah.
Nothing else, no protein,
Right.
no other side. We don't even know how it's made. It might just be raw.
It's broccoli raw.
There you go.
There, yeah.
And then it cuts back to Johnny comes back to the dojo, and he sees homeless lady Lynn is using the
Yeah,
sign
it's
as
like a little
shelter.
canopy shelter.
She's eating her
shaped thing.
burrito.
And she looks very content, so she must have
Had-
meth.
yeah, I
also.
was gonna say with how she is, you know what she got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And did we talk about when Johnny asks Miguel if he has friends, any friends, and he's like,
That I think that's like right
of course
coming up
Yeah.
okay, yeah. He's like, when do I learn how to kick or whatever?
because he has another bill he's looking at. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, you
have
know
any
anyone?"
friends?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Miguel had made a website for Cobra Kai, and
Yeah, in study hall. Yeah.
he's kind of showing it to Johnny. You could track your progress. You could sign up. Maybe we could do an app. And then his phone rings,
And it's Rat.
as a ringtone.
And that's where Johnny's
Johnny's like, I approve.
resurgence and
Yeah.
okay, cool. I'm making an impression on this
Uh-huh.
kid. So
Because Miguel's like, I went on this 80s rabbit hole.
I looked up Guns N' Roses and went on this whole 80s rabbit hole. That shit is awesome.
Yeah.
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 And so that's when he decides, you want to learn how to kick?
Yeah.
Meet me at midnight at the school. I'll teach you how to kick.
Yeah.
And then is this also when they? Oh no, they don't
No.
discuss the costume
Not
right this
yet.
time. Not yet.
Yeah, it's not jump ahead.
Yeah.
And so this is when we see the kicking.
Well,
being,
no.
Oh,
And then it cuts back to Daniel.
oh
and he
yeah, talking
tells
about
Sam that he's going to chaperone the dance,
Yeah.
and she freaks out, as any kid would
Mhm.
in high school, that your parent is gonna.
And he's trying to
chaperone.
justify it by like, "Hey, my mom drove me in my dates."
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
trying to make it
And
not seem
Amanda's
as.
like, and how did that work?
Mhm.
Yeah, how'd that go?
And I
he
like how
says,
she's
I'll
like-
be a ghost.
Yeah.
I like how she's like, "You do, I'm not going."
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, who wants to waste their Friday night?
And he's like,
Whatever,
"I
Saturday
am."
night? Yeah. Well, you're off the hook because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when we cut back to Johnny and Miguel at the high school, and he
Binds his wrist
Miguel's
and
wrist.
throws him in Miyagi
Mhm.
style,
Mhm.
which that's what I took
interesting.
from it.
Uh-huh.
If you think about it,
Yeah, that really
because he
is
could sit in the dojo and have him kick all day. But
right.
he's like, this is going to be so much faster. It's going to speed the process up
It's
a lot
very
more.
wax on, wax
It
off
is.
in Johnny's
In Johnny's
version.
style.
Mhm.
Yep. He just throws him in the water and it's like he's going to have to learn and build the strength doing this. And it's the
Mhm.
quickest way he's going to learn how to kick.
My favorite thing though is once Miguel is in the water, he doesn't come up. He's like, "Oh shit, I should have
found out if he can swim.
swim."
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see Miguel underneath. He's kind of having these flashbacks, or not necessarily flashbacks, but just like all the times that he hasn't been able to, and that kind of powers him up to break through the water. And Johnny and him are like, "Yeah, you did it. Let's keep going. Go back under."
Yeah.
And then we see whoever's at the school,
Security
that
or
night,
janitor or
and
whatever.
say, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, I thought you knew.
No, I lied. And then you have the whole montage of him kicking.
Well,
you know.
yeah, I love when he's like, "Oh, damn it!" You know, when he's getting out of the water, when he tells him he lied. Damn it! Yeah. So yeah, next scene is him kicking through the boards, which you see the how much easier it is for him. He's just doing it with no problem at all because he's built that strength. Yeah, that quick style of the Miyagi way of teaching Miguel without Johnny thinking about it, being how not knowing how Daniel trained because he doesn't know how Daniel was trained.
No, because at this time they haven't really interacted much so far.
Yeah.
But there's still that animosity of like, my life is ruined.
And this is where I think like the red letters come in, as far as like it's a changing of the moments. It's like the parallels of it. And there's a lot of parallels of Johnny and Daniel. It's different like right now.
Yeah.
Because and we'll get into it in a few at the school, but if we want to go
for sure.
And then at that point, Johnny asks Miguel if he's going to go to the dance.
Well, isn't he putting the costume on already or whatever?
No, they're like finishing up, and
Okay.
so he's asking about it because
And then that's when he shows him.
he pulls it out. He's like,
it started off as Deadpool, then it was Spider-Man, and then it was whatever. He's like,
and then Johnny calls him your poor man.
Yeah.
But Johnny's like, no, you're representing Cobra Kai.
We have a reputation at polls.
Can't let you go like this. Hold on.
Yeah.
And we get the infant. Oh,
not yet. Not yet. Your mom ruined it on the first take. Let's not do this again.
Hey, I haven't called a character.
I know.
Yet.
Not yet. It better not.
And so then we
get to the school, and it's Blatt and Daniel talking at the school dance.
And did it seem like Counselor Blatt has a serious crush on Daniel?
Probably.
Well, she asked him to put the gi on, or surprised he didn't come in the gi or whatever. And he's like, well, things need to change, or some things change. And then we say, then he's like, some things. Oh yeah.
That you and Allie broke up.
Yeah, here's some.
I can't remember. Just in the overall series, is she the friend?
I want to think so, but we never really go over it.
Do they ever really go over what her name is?
No, I don't think so.
In
oh no, they don't.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing. We talked about it in episode 2, where it was so great that they kept Johnny's life so vague and a lot of that stuff so vague that we can really, because the Sid situation, if they did too much on Johnny's life and he was just rich, it was his real parents, everything was great, this couldn't happen.
Right.
Now this works. So that was another thing too. Is I'm going to assume that's who it
because
is.
of how she talks with Daniel and
Yeah.
bringing up these past things like Allie and
Mhm.
whatnot.
Mhm.
So I've
Yeah.
always wondered if that was the
I
friend.
assume
I've
so.
assumed that also.
Yeah.
But I would have been careful with the drink she gave him. She
Right.
might have roofied it because
Yeah.
she seemed like she really had a crush
Yeah.
on him.
She's like, I was hoping you'd show up in the gi. And he's like, well, some things need to change, or some things change, and some
That's
things don't.
no.
And that's when Miguel walks in the skeleton costume.
Yeah.
He walks in, kind of looks around. He sees.
I like that there's like a fog machine going on behind him and all that. It's like real dramatic.
Yeah, he's kind of walking slow too.
It's in slow motion.
And in the meantime,
And the first time
Daniel's-
we didn't talk about Eli and their
And
costumes
Dimitri,
either.
yeah.
Eli
that's a good
went
time.
as a plastic surgeon.
He fixes
But he fixes lips.
And Miguel, he's like, "Oh, nice wizard." He's like, "I'm not a wizard.
I'm a
Necromancer.
necromancer.
See the amulet?"
Which really is Dimitri in a nutshell, as we've learned already.
Yeah.
And we'll even as we go further along in the series, he
Uh-huh.
has some of the best lines there
Yeah.
are. So.
And then not Johnny, Daniel's kind of scanning the crowd and he sees Sam and she texts him, "You're a ghost."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then does Daniel just kind of go off on his own here?
Yeah, he's just kind of
pacing around,
pacing.
looking, and then that's when he runs into. Well, Johnny's going through the hallways, posting his flyer still.
Yeah.
And then he looks in the glass case, right?
That's a little bit later.
A little bit later,
yeah.
okay.
Because we see Sam with Yasmin and, a few of those
Yeah,
other people.
yeah.
They're dressed as the Lakers cheerleaders. Poor Aisha's coming up. She's like, oh.
Hey, it's the silent killer.
Yeah. But Aisha wanted them to dress up as sodium chloride.
Yeah.
But
table salt. Yeah.
But Sam's a little too cool right now. Right now. So she's like, no, I'm going to be like them. But slowly is realizing, oh, you know what? I should have maybe stuck it out with her. Because over time, just in this party alone, she's kind of seeing the people she's aligned herself with.
Well, later on, especially. Yeah. After the next scene. So then Johnny and Daniel run into each other and
in the hall.
He's like, what are you doing? He's like, my daughter's here. I'm chaperoning. You can't be here. And
he's like, I'm just trying to advertise.
Yeah. I'm not going to let you get away with this. And he's just like,
but
Johnny just laughs it off.
But then Daniel, he sees over his shoulder Sam and Kyler running off.
You need to leave. You need to get off school property. And then
he rushes
that way. Yeah. To see what his daughter.
Johnny's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep putting my flyers up.
It cuts over to Yasmin making fun of Aisha at the table eating the Cheetos.
She's like, watch this.
Yeah. And everybody's phone pings.
The table, the food table's under attack or whatever.
She has like the pig filter on her and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we see Daniel interrupting. Well, Sam and Kyler are in the
room, and Daniel's looking through the window there.
He's like, can you help me take my belt off? So it looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, from his angle, because you just kind of see Sam's
Bent
back
over.
and kind of in that general area.
And then he busts in and says, I knew you were a bad person or bad influence on my kid and all that. And
he's like, I just wanted to give her a bracelet.
My grandma's bracelet or whatever. And,
grandma's.
And then she's like, thanks a lot, Dad, and storms off, and he's stuck there. And
then everybody's phone's dinging.
Yeah, and then she gets back to them. She goes back to the party. Yeah,
and then she's starting to see how Yaz is.
Yeah, that's when.
And Aisha storms off. Humiliated, but I think more angry than humiliated.
Yeah,
and she's already been at Cobra Kai, so now she's like, I'm really
gonna step this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick these kids' asses.
And then
cuts to
Eli and Dimitri need to go to the bathroom, so Miguel follows
this
them.
Punch is running right through me.
Yeah.
As Dimitri
which is funny because usually guys don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I never did that. But then again, the nerdy kids.
I was gonna say, were you a nerdy kid though?
No.
Yeah.
But I do remember a lot of times there were those. I think it was just like the strength in numbers thing too. Like
for sure.
Get picked on and all that. I get it.
So
so they're in the bathroom and then
walk in on a conversation.
Well, no, the conversation walks in on them.
Yeah, because they're in the bathroom / locker room.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in the bathroom half. They hear the conversation in the
Brooks and Kyler.
Yeah, they're in the palm of your dick or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
like
I can't
the
believe
same.
she was
I
gonna
can't
fall
believe-
for the
the
bracelet.
bracelet.
Like the other girl,
Mhm.
like not Reseda, but one of the other
Yeah.
towns.
Yeah.
So I can't remember who it was, but someone knocked something over,
Mhm.
alerts
I think
them.
it was Eli.
Yeah. And
of
you kind of
course-
see Miguel popping out, so that's the
Yeah.
first thing.
And then they
see.
run.
And
Mhm.
yeah, Eli
Eli.
and Dimitri, they bail on him.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he's left there, and he can kick now. Which, if you
But-
know, the first move that he does is the kick to the chest on
Uh-huh.
Kyler,
Mhm.
but then strengthen numbers.
I was gonna say it's 4 against 1. So
Yeah.
even though Miguel could have maybe taken on just Kyler,
But
Yeah.
it wasn't
not
working.
Brooks.
No.
Yeah.
So
Not
then,
right now.
So then, after they kick Miguel's ass, they leave, and then you see Johnny, and Johnny's walking around, which is
Yeah.
funny. Where did they didn't notice Johnny?
Right. Well, that's when he's looking in the glass container.
Case, yeah, and he sees Allie with the football.
So
you know,
he's
which is funny
Mhm.
because she left Daniel for a football player,
Yeah.
according to the original
Mhm.
movie, the second one or whatever.
Right.
And
he hears Kyler say something about beating up Bria.
yeah, so he's like, oh
So
shit.
he goes in, sees him, and it's kind of a reverse PTSD. He's like, oh,
Well,
this is kind of what happened to me.
no. So here's how
This
I
kind
took
of-
it. So what costume was he wearing when he was beat up?
He was wearing the skeleton.
Whereas, and this took place in the bathroom.
Mhm.
So in the original movie, Daniel puts the hose over Johnny in
the
skeleton
bathroom.
costume
Mhm.
and runs out, and then gets his butt kicked by all 5 of them and gets
Mhm.
saved. Well, in this case, Miguel is wearing the skeleton costume and gets his ass kicked,
Mhm.
and then gets saved by Johnny. So Johnny is so Mr. Miyagi in this episode.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I didn't take it that way. I just kind of
Because he saved him from getting his ass kicked by these kids that
Yeah.
started in the bathroom.
Mhm.
Yeah, so same thing.
And then that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, well, he takes them back to
And takes him back home to the apartment.
and she says, "I never want you around my
Well,
kid
that's
again."
the beginning of episode 4, though, because it kind of just ends with him standing over Miguel.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I
It's
watched
okay.
it this morning. That's why.
Yeah, you watched it a little more recent. I always put these two together because it starts
It
right
runs
up.
right into it. Yeah.
So, yeah, I even have that here. Bathroom incident like 84, except skeleton gets beat up. Johnny
Mhm.
rescues Miguel as if he's Miyagi.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I took it. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to add to the episode?
No.
But yeah, so Johnny is Mr. Miyagi in this
Yeah.
one, as far as I'm concerned.
I do like seeing the transformation of Miguel. It's happening now.
Mhm.
He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. He's not so geeky.
Mm-hmm.
His whole appearance is changing at
Mhm.
this point.
Yeah, he's getting more confident. You see that at the beginning with the shadow boxing too. He's real confident in it.
He's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
It's not just a phase or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So cool. All right, well,
Awesome.
we'll go ahead and start winding this episode down, and we'll get into the next one. So
So if you have any questions, email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation, and on X at Drum Conversing. And if you're listening to the audio version, you can find us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts or music, like Spotify and Apple. And if you're doing the video, of course, it's YouTube. And don't forget to like the episode, subscribe, and give us a rating and tell a friend.
5-star
We
rating.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
all right, for Drumming Up Conversation, I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood.
And I'm the kid.
No mercy. Hello and welcome to Drumming Up Conversation. I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood.
And I'm the kid.
If you're listening to audio portions of this episode, intro and outro music is provided by Arizona prog metal band Temporal Displacement. So check them out, and you can find them anywhere you listen to your favorite music. If you have any questions, you can email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation, and on X at Drum Conversing. Listen to our podcast, the audio version on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Don't forget to download the episodes, give us a 5-star review and a rating, and tell a friend. And then you can watch and follow all the video episodes on YouTube.
Yep. And we'll probably look into now that I'm doing more video, we'll probably look into seeing where else we can put video. But I mean, YouTube's still the easiest and probably the most visited to go to, as far as I know.
Absolutely.
So, and then this is another Cobra Kai episode that we're doing. We're doing 2 episodes per one episode for us. So 1 and 2 was one episode, and then now 3 and 4 will be a second episode. This one is episode 4. It's called Cobra Kai Never Dies. It was directed by Jennifer Salota again, and it's same, producers and writers and all that as all of the other 3. And there are some new cast members though, and I'll go over those real quick. It's Diora Baird as Shannon, David Chitra as Tom Cole, Terrell Hill as Trey, Jeff Kaplan as Cruz, and actually Tamlin Tomita as Kumiko was listed on here. We'll get to that as we go as well.
Sure.
Yeah, and if you guys want to kick it off, go for it.
We open this one up where we meet Robbie, and he's working, quote unquote, at Tech Town, scamming people. And he's wearing a name tag that says Eduardo.
Eduardo, yeah.
And he is scamming a customer to get his computer
To sell, yeah. And ask for the password and all that.
The guy says, my password's password. He's like, that's okay. Mine's
1, 2, 3. Trying to relate to the guy.
Yeah, which shows it. Yeah.
As soon as the customer walks off, he takes the computer out
And
to the
thanks
back.
Eduardo for the shirt and everything.
Yeah,
Says he'll
poor
get his
guy's
cut.
just there like this.
Like, you'll get your cut, whatever, and then you meet Robbie's friends who are just total degenerate.
Yeah.
And they talk about like having 3. There's 3 people interested, and they said to have everyone send us half, and then whoever shows up first gets it for the rest.
And Robbie was like,
what about the other 2?
Yeah,
It sucks to be them.
Yeah.
So he still has a little bit of
conscience,
even though he's,
Yeah. And then as they're skateboarding away, because degenerates skateboard apparently.
But they always have. Come on.
he
looks it down and he sees a flyer. And one of them asks, "You thinking about doing his karate?" He's like, "No, it's my fucking dad." And we get the first F word. Yep, Cobra Kai and yellow tiles. So.
And then it cuts over to it's
the flashback.
It's that night. And Johnny's walking down the street drunk. Johnny stuff
with his Coors Banquet.
Yeah, and he's having flashbacks
attached to the plastic things, the plastic rings.
He's having flashbacks from the dance, and that's where Carmen says.
And then we did the flashback of him bringing her Miguel, and he said, "I don't want you ever near my son again." So
And then all of a sudden, Johnny sees someone that's doing some spray painting in a dark corner.
Graffiti. Trade cans for cans.
Yeah, trade cans for cans.
And then it cuts away, so you don't quite know just yet what Johnny was planning with the spray paint.
Yeah, my guess is a rocket ship.
And then so it cuts over. Sam is not talking to Daniel. She comes down. He's making breakfast.
He's making her favorite, the banana pancakes.
And she just walks off.
Well, then he gives one to Bratty Anthony. And he makes the taco out of it.
Yeah.
Makes a mess.
Because syrup's dripping down his hands. I couldn't even,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to film that.
The grubby kid.
Yeah.
But just everywhere.
And she just,
walks out.
Storms off. And
And then from there, Daniel's driving to work, feeling pretty good.
And then Amanda calls.
Yeah.
And she's like, have you seen
the billboard yet? And he's, Tom Cole. Geez, that's huge. He's got obviously compensating for something.
Just driving by, and he's like, oh, yep.
And this is where we first see Tom Cole.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've heard of Tom Cole. That was episode 1. Actually, he gets brought up briefly. But we actually get to see, Tommy's a fruitcake.
Yeah.
That's from Titus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Amanda's like, not that billboard, ours. And he's like, what are you talking about? That's when he pulls up to the stop, looks over at his billboard.
And there's a
I
big dick.
I told you it's a rocket ship. And that's the flash the blooper reel you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because there's a part in it that they say it wasn't a dick, it was a rocket ship. And we'll get to that later on too. But
so there's a big dick painted across his billboard towards his mouth. And
He gets to the dealership and he has a cop there.
Well, you can hear everyone talking about.
Yeah,
Did you
in
see
the
the billboard?
background.
You hear Louis say, "Did you see the billboard?"
Yeah, he comes in laughing about it, thinking it's the funniest thing.
Amanda's like, no one's ever going to see it. He's like, we purposely put that billboard there because of the traffic. And she's like, it's not your billboard anymore. It's the Dick's billboard. And now you'll blow the competition away. And she's trying to make light of it.
I like that she's trying to just like blow it over. It's not a big deal,
And then the next scene is the cops are there taking notes and all that. Just find the guy that did this.
I like they could trace it. And track it down.
Well, they actually could. We find out later.
Yeah,
in the next episode, which we won't talk about now.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing on a sidebar, though, is that they actually had to put these billboards up.
Right.
So people in where they were filming actually got to see these, which is funny. And
that looks like Ralph Macchio. He has a
dealership here? Yeah, they're probably like
under LaRusso.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I brought that up to her. I'm like, can you imagine trying people driving?
Figure out like, where's LaRusso Auto? I want to buy from Ralph Macchio.
Right? Because famous people do have, like, Mark Wahlberg owns a bunch of dealerships.
Yeah.
And
it's Hollywood, why wouldn't a celebrity just randomly have a billboard,
named after one of their characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And then it cuts over to Carmen and Miguel are talking about what happened at the dance.
He's saying he needs more karate.
Yeah. And the grandma's agreeing, right?
She's like, yes.
He just needs more training,
Let's go. I love Grandma. She was always one of the favorites.
For sure. Yeah.
And Carmen's saying, no, Johnny's a loser.
Yeah, she does not like Johnny right now, which is great.
Yeah. And Miguel says, he's not a loser.
You don't know him. He's a great man. Yeah.
And then it cuts to Johnny passed out on the floor of his apartment. And he's got beer cans everywhere.
Yeah, but he's a great man.
Yeah.
And
I think that was the point.
Yeah. School calls him. That's how he wakes up.
Yeah.
And he's like, why are you calling me? Oh, we're just seeing how that canoe trip you and Robbie have been on for a month.
Trip. Yeah, time, I'm sure time got away from you. It does with me. And
Colorado.
Yeah, whatever.
But they're like, he's been gone a little too long. He needs to come back before we file truant. Whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, crap, now I got to figure out what the hell's going on with my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it cuts over to Sam and Kyler are making plans to go see a movie together, which Brooks is in the background.
Well, is this that part? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
and then the library.
Johnny leaves. Miguel's trying to talk to him about karate. He's like, I can't deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And then everyone's in the hallways oinking at Aisha.
Oh,
and then Kyler comes up.
That's right. Yeah.
Like right after, and Sam's already kind of like, And they're talking about going to a movie.
And he's talking about don't judge me if I get a little teary eyed or whatever.
I love tragic shit.
They end up hugging, and you can see Sam's phone going off. It's Daniel still trying to reach her, like, please, let's just talk.
Yeah.
I want to apologize, and she's still ignoring him.
Then it cuts over to the dealership, and the service desk lady.
She ordered a bunch of sausages.
For everyone? He's like, no.
It's from Tom Cole.
100 sausages.
Yeah.
And Amanda's like, okay, it's free lunch.
So Daniel calls.
Still trying to be positive about it.
Daniel calls Anush and Louie. They're trying to repaint the billboard. Start from both ends, working towards the middle. Louie's like, have you ever painted anything? You've got to have even lines.
Which is funny because, yes, Daniel has painted before.
Yes.
He's painted fences and houses and all kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Anush steps in.
He's dog shit. It's like, what? And then Louie's like, how do you get a dog up here?
And then they're like,
oh. Yeah.
Then you cut to the apartment that Robbie and his mom are living in. He's with the two degenerates.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Johnny's in there.
Yeah.
And Robbie's like, what the hell are you doing here? Don't you knock? He's like, I have been knocking for 5-10 minutes. You guys are in here.
If you're turning that trash down, maybe you'd have heard. Yeah. Trash in your boombox. And they're like, what's a boombox? And he's like, what's on your lip? Mustache. I love that.
And then Johnny's like, "Where's your mom?" Probably boozing it up or, whatever.
Robbie makes a joke about a strip mall dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to
Be something of yourself. And he's like, "What? Like
be a loser,
Mhm.
loser like you, and have a strip mall karate school?"
Yeah.
Which is funny because he says karate school, and Johnny does not correct him,
Mm-hmm.
which is an interesting thing. That subtle.
Yeah.
Johnny with everyone else would have said dojo,
Yeah.
but with this kid, he's like, it's not even worth it. I'm just
Mhm.
going to say school.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
He tells Johnny, I'm not going back to school. My mom knows. We're
She's fine.
good with it.
You can
I'm
go.
good with it.
Mhm.
We're good with it. You can go. Yeah.
And then it cuts back to the school. Miguel is having lunch, I'm guessing, and he's
Yeah,
with
they're eating in the library
Yeah.
with Eli
Eli
and
and Dimitri,
Dimitri.
and he's like, "Yeah, my mom wants me to quit karate." And
Good. It
Dimitri,
was giving you
you know what?
confidence.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good
for the
thing. You were getting a
best.
little confident there. And
And then poor Eli, because he hasn't. We won't
Yes,
spoil that,
yeah.
but we haven't seen his potential yet. But he's like,
I
I thought
thought
it was kind of
actually it
cool.
was kind of cool, that you stood up to him and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And he's like, "Okay, the meet you like, what's the best superpower?" And they're like, "Super strength." It's like, no,
No, invisibility.
invisibility, and being fast is a close second, so you can outrun everyone. And that kind of just shows where he's at. He's like, I'm
Mhm.
good with just being who I am, and
Yeah.
he's like, "There's not," Then he foreshadows the next scene. He says, "Nothing worse than getting your backpack thrown. All it's going to do is get your backpack thrown in the trash."
Then who comes up behind them?
Kyler.
Kyler.
Yeah. Did I overhear you saying,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Oh," and then he takes his bag and
He
he's like,
sees Eli. He's like, "Oh God, what's this?"
"What's with your lip?" And he's like,
Poor Eli.
Yeah.
And runs off. And Kyler pushes Miguel. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And grabs Dimitri, and he's like, "Oh, hold on.
You
You
thought I
don't
was
need
going to throw
this."
this in the trash, didn't you? No, I'm not going to, and then or whatever, and then he
Yeah.
throws it in the trash. Like, "Oh, I just put a yogurt in there."
And picks it up.
And
Oh,
Tyler says the stupidest thing, "Oh, double dip," which
Yeah,
makes no
which
sense.
means-
Which you didn't even throw it in there twice.
twice.
Yeah.
So it was just, but it's funny because it's so stupid. That's what a bully would
Uh-huh.
say, because you're not going to say anything back to him anyway.
Right,
Because if you
'cause-
do, he's just going to beat you up for
Mhm.
talking back.
Meanwhile, Sam is just a row over.
Uh-huh.
She's hearing and watching the whole
hearing and
thing.
watching everything that's
Yeah.
going on.
Mhm.
And then they all walk off. And then it shows Carmen pulling up the school in a minivan, which is yeah. She's in the typical mom vehicle.
Well, which
For
is
just the one kid.
So this is very Daniel and his mom,
Mm-hmm.
where she did that at the golf and stuff.
Yeah.
In front of a bunch of people, and Maggie, hey, Miss, almost waiting
Hey,
for, "Hi,
Mrs. LaRusso.
Exactly. It was very similar to that. Nice car. Yeah.
But
Very similar to that, which, let's be honest, Miguel so far
Mhm.
is the Daniel of Cobra Kai.
Mhm.
So
and she's like, "I switched my schedule around. We could go see a movie. We could hang out." And he's like, "No, you're just trying to keep me from karate." She's like, "But come on."
no, I just want to go home.
Mhm.
And you see the disappointment in her eyes. And
Yeah.
all
She's like,
that.
"Okay, fine."
Yeah. And then it pans over to the not to the dealership. I'm sorry, and they're having a marketing meeting with Amanda and Daniel and the
The
marketing
marketing
company.
company or whatever it was.
And they talk about like the karate and
They're
how
like, "That's a
popular it
great
was in the
gimmick,
80s. It's
you
a great
know?
gimmick. She's like, well, it's not really a gimmick. That karate it was really huge in the 80s, and Daniel's a two-time
And-
champ. And he's like, but if it's a gimmick, we
Let's
could
change it up.
Tom Cole's not using gimmicks. Like, well, and then one of the best moments of the entire series is
Dressed
Tom Cole
as a patriot.
Tom Cole here, Patriot, American Patriot, Tom Cole here, or whatever. And in these dry times, you need a more sustainable plant,
A
a
drought
drought-resistant cactus.
American.
I like that
American
is
tree,
the most American plant was a cactus.
Kind of is. I mean, everyone thinks that Wild West was America and all that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And then at the end of it, he has the musket.
You must
get
get down here.
I mean, we use that
That
all the time. All the time. Yeah.
And
Just one of the greatest 20 seconds of the whole
it
series.
was awesome. It was so great.
After it plays, Daniel just storms out.
Yeah.
Then it cuts over to Shannon's at the bar.
Yeah.
On a
with the
date.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny walks in and is like,
I
Figured I'd-
circled your usual.
Figured I'd find you at
Yep.
one of them.
Yep.
And she's like, oh shit.
So you get
oh shit,
the idea
man.
that she's kind of a drunk, you
Yeah.
know.
Or she's trying to like she goes and dates people and tries to get
Just
money.
tries
and
to get whatever,
She's a
you
leech,
know.
kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you kind of that's what you see from that interaction.
That's kind of this quickest way to sum it
Mhm.
up is
He starts talking about Robbie, that he's skipping school, he's going down a bad path, and
they
she's
were
like,
smoking pot in their apartment.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the
Johnny.
first time you've ever. Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, she's
the
like,
first
"This is the
time
first
in
time."
15 years you knew where your kid was.
Mhm.
And she said,
Eat shit, Johnny. Yeah.
He's like, you know what? How
I can't
about
get that kid to do anything. You know. Yeah.
how about he live with me? I'll get him to go to school. I'll get him to straighten up. She's like, whatever.
You gave up on him on the first day. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm here now. She's like,
It's too late.
Yeah, too late.
It's too
Good for
late.
you.
Yeah.
Then we cut over to Daniel walks into Tom Cole's dealership.
He's showing a car off. He's got his boba.
Yeah, and he's like, I'd be careful. Make sure you read the fine print. I heard
He
he
got this.
throws a
this,
lot of
mhm.
throws a lot of things in there, like extended warranties and this and that. And he says, "Oh," and then Tom Cole just starts going back at him, and
He's like, I know you did the billboard and stuff.
Yeah,
And he was like, your dealership has a carrot, mine has boba.
yeah. And he's like,
Get him a boba.
yeah,
Yeah, just pushing the boba. Like,
Yeah.
come on, have a boba. Get
Yeah.
him a boba.
yeah.
Just try
This
the
will
boba.
calm you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a boba.
Last year was the first time I ever tried boba, and it was mainly because of that.
Yeah,
I've known about boba for years.
yeah.
And then he's talking
Giving it
about
back.
he's saying, your karate gimmick is really winning people over.
He's like, oh, real subtle with the cactus and everything else, and
Mhm.
yeah.
And Daniel's like, I was the 2-time All Valley champ.
Yeah,
He's
well,
like,
and then when he asked for the boba again, he's like, "Oh, you must be full from all that dick."
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Daniel turns around and kicks the
Kicks the boba out of
boba.
his-
But
yeah.
first, Tom was like, oh, 2-time champ. And
What's this?
Uh-huh.
What's this? Which
They're
we do a
left
lot
out.
too. There's a lot of Tom Cole we use a lot.
And he is such a
for
minor
such-
character.
I think it was in 2 or 3 episodes tops.
Uh-huh.
65.
Mention, yeah.
Just unforgettable. Like we use must like, hurry up! You must get down here like
Yeah,
all the
all the
time.
time.
Yeah.
And Daniel starts to walk off, and then that's when
That's
he
when he-
says, you must be tired from, or must be full from
from
eating
all
all that
those-
dick.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And he turns around and kicks the boba out.
Yeah.
of
And
his
walks
hand.
out.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we go over to the movies. Kyler and Sam
And she is clearly, you can see she's
She's not
annoyed.
happy because
Uh-uh.
she's thinking about everything that happened at the library. He's starting to get really handsy with her. And if you notice, the
Yeah.
two women back behind him are keeping an eye on him.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys noticed
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And
So he finally gets handsy, and
Mhm. She's like, no.
and then that's where you see a little bit of the
You don't
karate.
know at first because of how she has been acting.
And you
like-
don't know that Daniel's ever taught them
right.
anything.
He
or
might
taught her
have.
anything.
We don't know
Maybe
from
he-
a certain point to now what he did with karate.
Yeah.
he
so-
got really vocal and she told him no. He kept pushing it.
And yeah, you see a little subtle move.
And then,
Nothing.
and then he goes to grab her bag or her
Mhm.
hand or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and she
She-
does little.
Mhm.
And if you notice, it's the wax on, wax off
Yeah.
move.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
So yeah, you see a little bit of
Yeah.
karate there, but
yeah, you can see that she doesn't. She
Yeah.
won't take any
So
shit.
she walks
Mhm.
off and leaves him there.
Yeah.
And then
cuts to Johnny
Johnny.
at the like little
Restaurant,
diner
yeah.
type thing.
watching the
He
father and son share a sundae.
hmm And you could see, we don't know if it's about Robbie or Miguel. We don't quite know, but you could see he has kind of a regret over his face. Like,
And I
that
hated
could have been
that
me.
scene. It's so not like.
Not Johnny.
Well, no, it's not. No, with the kid in the
Uh-huh.
Sunday, it's like I would not want to be a kid and have that either.
Yeah.
Like,
Splitting the Sunday with your
just let me
dad.
have mine and you can have yours. Like,
Yeah.
you have your own cherry, I'll have mine. We're good.
Mhm.
You can go. Yeah, I was just like, ah.
And then
But
we cut.
Next thing is the next scene is
Uh-huh.
he's at an
A
apartment
door.
door.
We don't
Yeah.
I don't
know.
know whose.
Mhm.
Yep, it could be Robbie, Miguel, it could be anyone.
Could be
Yeah.
anyone.
And then we find out that it's Miguel's because he
Mhm.
says, I let him
Comment
down.
on it.
I let him down. Let me have
you
another
know,
chance.
that kid hasn't given up on me. I want to give
Yeah.
him that same respect, and I
Yeah.
don't want to give up on him.
Yeah.
And
then Grandma's the voice
he's
of
like,
reason.
just let me know.
Yeah.
And she's like,
I like him.
Yeah.
And Carmen's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up real quick too with when Carmen picks him up, she talks about Deadpool and Spider-Man and all that in
Mhm.
Marvel,
Mhm.
whereas eventually Sholo plays Blue Beetle, which is DC, which I always thought was funny, little parallel.
They're talking about all these Marvels, but he ends up going DC.
Because I think this is the last time they're really talking about Marvel characters
think
in the
so,
series.
yeah.
So I want to bring that up real quick, that down the road, Sholo actually is in a DC comic book movie. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah.
And then next it cuts over to Daniel's
It's
making
next morning.
kids breakfast.
But it's very basic this time.
It's
you
English
know.
muffins.
English-
What is this, Afghanistan?
Yeah.
He's such a little turd
Yeah.
the first couple of seasons.
And then Sam walks in and
She's kind of
says-
chipper,
Yeah.
you know.
And Daniel says,
What?
"Hey, why don't you invite Kyler over?"
It's gonna be kind of
This-
warm.
Color and your friends over and have a little pool party this
Mhm.
weekend.
Like,
He's
I don't think Kyler's
I'm
gonna be
not.
around
And
anymore.
he's like, really?
Oh, it's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's like, are
No,
you?
mhm.
It's like, no, this my sad face. It's my sad face.
And
And
then
then
she's like, "What? No
No
banana
Bananarama pancakes? Well, no, because when Anthony says try English muffins, what is this, Afghanistan? And Daniel says this isn't a restaurant, and just sit and
not
eat.
made to order.
Yeah,
or
this
whatever.
is not a restaurant. And then so when she does that, and he's like,
like-
I'm about to make a batch right now, and then Anthony's like, what? I thought you said this wasn't a
He's like,
restaurant.
enjoy your dry muffin.
Enjoy your dry English muffin. Yeah.
So you could see how they favor one child over
Mhm.
the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Miguel comes to the dojo and says, "My mom's gonna let me come
Do we
back."
still have the dojo?
Yep.
We do for now.
For now.
Yep.
And Johnny's like, I'm going to teach you defense. The best,
Your best defense. Well, the reason you couldn't take on the 5 guys is because those other guys, because you didn't have enough defense. And the best defense,
More offense.
more offense.
And then Daniel drives down the
That's one of
road
my favorite things.
and he sees the Tom Cole billboard.
He's having a great day
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Sam
The
is
music's
back.
playing,
yeah.
It's upbeat music.
Mhm.
And he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Anush tells Daniel,
Hey man, we
Found a bunch of these.
There's something I want to talk to you about, and they show
Mhm.
him the flyer that's Johnny Lawrence
Johnny
Karate, the
Lawrence
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
There's a whole stack of them up there when we were doing the billboard, and so now he knows it wasn't
It was a
Tom
Cole, but
it was
Johnny.
Johnny.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then that episode ends.
Yeah. And then Cobra Kai never dies. Miguel can't do Cobra Kai anymore, but he comes back, which is the Cobra Kai never dies. And then at the very end, we find out that Cobra Kai is responsible for the billboard, and all the stuff that Daniel just did with Tom Cole was all
for nothing.
was for nothing. And so Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah.
There's always like something.
Daniel bullied someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He forgot his.
Although it's not like Tom Cole didn't ask
didn't,
for it.
yeah.
He did kind of.
It wasn't just a random guy that he just was like.
Well, that, and he could have just been like, hey, sorry, it was, or he could have even said it wasn't him, which he did not say.
Yeah, he didn't deny
And
it.
he actually bullied him first by sending the sausages and making it. So he kind of he
deserved
asked
it.
for it.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was just innocent bystander that he asked for it. He sent 100 sausages and like how was he not supposed to think you did?
Yeah.
You didn't do it,
Exactly.
so yeah.
So we have shown our tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
So you can show yours.
Yep.
Yep. All 3.
Yep,
All
all
three.
of them got it.
Purple, orange, and green.
Yep.
So
And then our next one will be the Miyagi-Do with the eagle. with
yeah, on the
bonsai
other
eagle.
arm. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
if you listen to our audio version, the intro and outro music is provided by Justin's band Temporal Displacement. Check them out anywhere you listen to your favorite music. If you have any questions, email us at drummingupconversation@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Drumming Up Conversation, and on X at Drum Conversing. And don't forget if you're listening to audio version, you can find our podcast anywhere.
Apple, Spotify. Give us
all the
5-star rating and
review, follow us,
reach out to us on Instagram and Facebook and all that, or email us, all that good stuff.
and then follow us on YouTube for the video versions.
Mhm.
and like and subscribe and tell a friend.
And yeah, we're going to be posting more videos. I have a different thing I'm going to probably do, so there might be just a bunch of them at one time.
Okay.
Go back and watch those. But for Drumming Up Conversation, I'm Justin Wood.
I'm Andrea Wood.
And I'm the kid.
No mercy.
Drumming up conversation.